यमुनातिरावनचारी यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनातिरावनचारी यमुना हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 जय राधा कालाचंजी राधा कालाचंजी श्री राधे जय जय राधा गोविंद श्री राधे जय 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 प्रभुपाद 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 श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, text number 42. We are discussing the prayers of Queen Kunti, and we are on Chapter 8, text number 42 from first canto. You can pull up on your phones 1842 Bhagavatam. त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर मधुपते सकृत रतिम उद्वहताद रतिम उद्वहताद अद्धा गंगे गंगे वौघम उदन्वती त्वयि मे नन्य विषया मतिर मधुपते सकृत रतिम उद्वहताद अद्धा गंगे वौघम उदन्वती. Anyone would like to chant? त्वयि मे ननन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत रतिम उद्वहतादद्धा गंगे वौघम उदन्वती. Anyone else? Okay. So we'll do the word to word meaning. You can repeat after me. Twai, unto you. Me, my. Ananya Vishaya, unalloyed. Matihi, attention. Madhupate, O Lord of Madhu. Asakrit, continuously. Ratim, attraction. Udvahatat, may overflow. Addha, directly. Ganga, the Ganges. Eva, like. Ogham, flows. Udanvati, down to the sea. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation is as follows. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Purport. Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others because this is a symptom of life. The symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated. But in devotional service, The desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so called affection for family, society, country, etc., consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can see that Arjuna desired not to fight with his brothers and relations just to satisfy his own personal desires. But when he heard the message of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he changed his decision and served the Lord. And for his doing so, he became a famous devotee of the Lord. For it is declared in all the scriptures that Arjuna attained spiritual perfection by devotional service to the Lord in friendship. The fighting was there, the friendship was there, Arjuna was there, and Krishna was there. But Arjun became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Queen Kunti also indicate the same categorical changes in activities. Srimati Kunti wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. This unalloyed devotion is the ultimate goal of life. Our attention is usually diverted to the service of something which is non godly or not in the program of the Lord. When the program is changed into the service of the Lord, that is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, it is called pure unalloyed devotional service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayed for it from the Lord. Her affection for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis is not out of the range of devotional service because the service of the Lord and the service of the devotees are identical. Sometimes service to the devotee is more valuable than service to the Lord. But here, the affection of Kunti Devi for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis was due to family relation. This tie of affection in terms of material relation is the relation of Maya because the relations of the body or the mind are due to the influence of the external energy. Relations of the soul, established in relations with the Supreme Soul, are factual relations. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by the via medium of the relation with the super soul. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Right, Hare Krishna. So we are currently discussing the 8th chapter, and in these two verses, that is verse number 41 and verse 42, Kunti Maharani is describing of cutting ties with her family members. In text number 41, Kunti Maharani is praying that please sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. So Kunti Maharani is praying to Krishna to please cut off her affection for the Pandavas, that is for her for her father for her father-in-law's side, for the relations which are on her father-in-law's side, and also on her father's side. So we have to understand here that Kunti Maharani is actually praying to cut off the family ties only on the skin level. As Prabhupada writes in text, in the verse, in the purport, that she is actually trying to cut off her ties on the level of the skin, on the level of the body. It is described that there are 5 types of attachment that all of us have. First type of attachment is the attachment to this body. Considering ourselves to be this body, that I am this body and there is no soul. There is absolutely no connection with the soul. And to consider ourselves only this body, made of earth, water, fire, and air and ether, that is first level of attachment. Then comes the second level of attachment, and that is the attachment with one's family members, which are the extended of this body, with our parents, with siblings, with uncle, aunts, and all grandparents, great grandparents. So all these attachments, the second type of attachments, the attachments which are not Krishna conscious, the family attachments which doesn't deal anything with Krishna consciousness, those are the second type of attachments which all of us have. Then the third level of attachment is the attachment of things in this world, like my car, my house, my degree, my job, my fame, my prestige, everything related to mine. That is the third level of attachment. Then the fourth level of attachment is the attachment with collecting on the intellectual platform. That is attachment to the knowledge, attachment to science, attachment to the knowledge which is not connected to Krishna. That is the fourth level of attachment. Attachment on the mental platform. Then the fifth level is the attachment to the religious practices, different religious practices which people follow, which are not Krishna conscious. They have nothing to do with Krishna. They are simply on the level of karma kand. That is, they are simply performed for the fulfillment of material desires. Such attachments, religious attachments, is the fifth level. And here Kunti Maharani is praying that she wants to detach herself from her. The most deep rooted attachment is the attachment with our family members. And she wants to cut her ties with those family members. And her ties, she is saying that she wants to cut her ties on the level of the skin, which means on the level of bodily relations. So therefore, we have to understand that whatever attachments we have, especially with the people around us, Kunti Maharani is saying that, or even Srila Prabhupada in the purport says that those attachments should be on the level of the soul, which means my family, my friends, my relatives. Of course, because we are human beings, we will have affection for them. It is not possible to, like Srila Prabhupada in this purport also, he is saying today, just in the first paragraph, he is saying that to cut off the tie of all the other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements, like affection for someone else. This is not possible. So Prabhupada is saying just to cut off oneself and not to be affectionate towards others is not possible, because we are human beings, we are living entities, and being affectionate to others and accept affection from others is a basic necessity, is a basic need. So, but what Prabhupada is saying is we should not be attached on a bodily level to other living entities. We have to see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. I love my parents, I love my spouse because she is a devotee of Krishna. I love other friends, other devotees, not because they are wealthy or they are famous, but because they are devotees of Krishna. They are practicing devotional service. That is the reason why I am attached to them. That is the reason why I am connected to them. So when we are connected on the level of the soul, that is the connection, that is the attachment will not bind us to this world. Otherwise, we find in the grihastha, or they are not grihasthas in the materialistic world outside, but those who are in grihastha ashram, are married, I should say non-devotees who are not yet fortunate to accept Krishna consciousness, they are simply, what to speak of, giving up attachment to one another, but they are running behind, or I should say, they are engaging themselves in activities which will strengthen their bodily attachments. So we as devotees, we have to understand that these attachments should be completely on the spiritual level, as Kunti is praying in this verse. So now Kunti prays, okay, I don't want attachments, but then what next? The Mayavadis say, okay, just like Mayavadis say that they don't want anything, they keep doing neti, which means they will negate and they will neglect and ignore everything else. They don't want anything. But here Kunti Maharani in verse 41, she says she wants to cut ties with her own kinsmen. And immediately in verse 42, she says, but what she wants. Because we cannot remain neutral. We want something of higher taste to sustain. So that is the problem with the philosophy of Mayavadis. The Mayavadis say that you just reject everything, and finally at the end of your life, you will go back to the Brahman effulgence. You will merge into Brahman and you will lose your identity. Everything comes from Brahman. That is their philosophy. And then at the end of your life, you will enter Brahman, you will lose your form. But the problem with that is, what will we do in Brahman? That neutral state is so painful, like there is no activity, there is no service in Brahman. Therefore, they are not happy. The constitutional position of this jiva is to be the servant of the Supreme Lord, is to serve the Lord. Jivere swarupa hoy, Krishnera nitya das. That the constitutional position of a jiva is to be the servant. And therefore we find all the living entities, all the human beings, they are serving one or the other living entity. The employee in this world, in this material world, the employee serving the boss. The parents are serving the child, and then the child grows up, he is expected that he will serve the parents. The students are serving the teachers. So in this way, each and every living entity is serving some or the other, because that's what the constitutional position is. So therefore, just by negating everything is not the solution. And what is the solution? For advancement, that Kunti Maharani states in the verse 42, she is saying that, O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. She is saying, okay, I want to cut my ties with my family, but I want to develop attraction towards you. Constantly, she is saying, I want to constantly develop my attraction towards you, which means I want to remember you constantly. I want to think of you. The same thing Kunti Maharani spoke even in earlier verses of her prayers. The famous verse Kunti Maharani is speaking, Vipadaha santutaha shashvat, tatra tatra jagadguru, bhavato darshanam yatsat apunarbhava darshanam. Kunti Maharani speaks that whatever calamities you have given me, please give those calamities to me again and again. Because when you give me those calamities, I'm able to remember you more and more. And then here she is praying that, again, the same point, that just like the Ganges forever flows into the sea without hindrance, each and every drop of water of the river Ganga flows into the sea. Nothing is left behind. Similarly, she wants each and every part of her consciousness, 100%, 100% of her consciousness to be engaged in remembering Krishna and getting attracted towards Krishna. And not being diverted to anyone and anything else, she is praying. So therefore, we have to understand as devotees, first point is, it is not possible to suddenly, Kunti Maharani is not giving up, like after she spoke these verses, she didn't give up the kingdom and she went to the forest and took sannyas. She didn't do anything like that. But what Kunti Maharani saying is, whatever comes in between us and Krishna, we have to give up those. If family relations are coming between us and Krishna, between we getting attracted towards Krishna, then those family relations should be given up. For example, Vibhishan in Ramayana, because Ravan was not ready to become a devotee, or at least Ravan was not ready to surrender to Krishna or Ramachandra, Vibhishan gave up his association and he surrendered to Ram, Vibhishan. On the other hand, we are talking about attachment here. Kumbhakarna was so attached to Ravan. Kumbhakarna knew that Ravan couldn't win over Sri Ram. Sri Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Kumbhakarna also tried explaining Ravan that you cannot win over Lord Ramachandra. please return back Mother Sita. Kumbhakarna tried to explain him the same thing. But Ravan, because he was so much under the influence of lust and false ego, he didn't return back Sita. But the point here is, although Kumbhakarna knew that Sri Ramachandra is the Supreme Lord, because he was attached to Ravan in the brotherly relations, he couldn't give up the association of Ravan. Even Kumbhakarna was destroyed. Kumbhakarna had the option, although he knew that Ram is Supreme Lord, but because of his attachment to his brother Ravan, he was not able to give up his attachments, and ultimately even he was killed in the battlefield by Lord Ramachandra. Even we find in the example of Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj didn't associate with his father, but he was affectionate to his father. How do we understand he was affectionate to his father? When Narsimhadev appeared and he killed Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj prayed to Narsimhadev that, please deliver my father. Please give him your shelter. Please give him your shelter. This is the nature of great devotee. Hiranyakashipu did so much atrocities on Prahlad. So much atrocities. But still, when Narsimhadev appeared and he killed Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad is praying, being affectionate. So here Prahlad is completely talking on a spiritual level. He is not bodily connected to Hiranyakashipu, although he is his son. But Prahlad Maharaj is talking completely on a transcendental platform and praying for his own father Hiranyakashipu. This is what Kunti Maharani is talking here. That we have to be, the way we can develop attachment to Krishna is by always considering ourselves or our relations with other people to be on the level of the soul. Because my friend is a dear devotee of Krishna, I love him. Because my parents are devotees, not because they are my parents, but because they are devotees of Krishna, I serve them, I love them. That is what it means to be connected on the level of the soul, as Prabhupada states in the purport, in this purport. And how can we develop attraction towards Krishna, as Kunti Maharani states here? We develop attraction to Krishna only by his mercy. There is no other way. Only by the mercy of Krishna we can develop attachment to Krishna. And how do we get that mercy? We get that mercy only by service. Service to Krishna. Sevon mukhe hi jivvadav, swayam eva spuratyada. When we do service, seva, sevon mukhe, with unmukh, with devotion, with being favorable to Krishna, when we serve Krishna, that is when Krishna is pleased. That is when we will get the mercy of Krishna, and that is when we will get attracted towards Krishna. When we serve the devotees of the Supreme Lord, we will get the mercy of the Lord. For example, we find in the pastime of Narad Muni. Narad Muni, in his previous life, was the son of a maid servant. And some sadhus, some sages appeared in the house of this Narad Muni, this Narada. Now, Narada served them, and therefore he developed great attachment towards the Supreme Lord. And therefore, when great attachment develops towards the Supreme Lord, sometimes Supreme Lord takes away our attachments, our bodily attachments. And therefore, Narada's mother was taken away by the Supreme Lord. Narada's mother got bitten by a serpent, and she left Narada. And he was an orphan, materially an orphan. And therefore, for him, it became easier to surrender to Krishna completely. So, therefore, we have to understand sometimes Krishna takes away our material attachments, our material relationships. Krishna will take away those only so that we can get more connected to him. Even we find in pastimes of Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Srila Prabhupada explains that when he got married to his wife, he was not married to a very, very beautiful wife. And Srila Prabhupada was thinking that can I again get married to another woman, to a more beautiful one? Srila Prabhupada explains this. Because in Vedic times, marrying more than once, for a man to have multiple wives was possible. Because in those days, in the Vedic times, because women were more than men, most of the men used to take brahmacharya or sannyas, and there were no men to marry women. So therefore, to give shelter to women, a man was allowed to marry multiple women. So even Srila Prabhupada was thinking that should I get married to even more beautiful woman? And he asked his father, Gaur Mohan De, that can I get married to another woman? And Gaur Mohan De, being a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he told Srila Prabhupada that at this point, it's very good that you are detached from your wife. Because she is not that beautiful, you are detached from your wife. So that's very good. It will help you to advance in Krishna consciousness. Don't again marry and stay with only one wife. And then Srila Prabhupada says it became very easier for him to leave the house and take sannyas at the appropriate time. So in this way, we can see that the Supreme Lord arranges, if we are sincere, if we serve Krishna, if we serve the Supreme Lord, if we serve the devotees of the Supreme Lord, then all of our material attachments, Krishna will cut our attachments, our material attachments, which are not favorable towards devotional service. Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam bhaktiruttama. Something that is anukul, we have to accept. And what is pratikul, we have to reject. That is also Sharanagati. Here, one aspect of this verse is Kunti Maharani is talking about Sharanagati, surrender to Krishna. When she is talking about getting attracted to Krishna, first attraction comes when we are surrendered. And one of the 6 aspects of Sharanagati is, as per Bhakti Vinod Thakur, one of the 6 aspects is accept what is favorable and reject what is unfavorable. Accept what is favorable even if we don't like it. For example, waking up early may be difficult. It might be a big austerity, but we accept it because that will take us closer to Krishna. And reject what is unfavorable, which means giving up, that will take us away from Krishna. And therefore we follow the 4 regulative principles like no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit connection outside of our marriage. And when we do that, when we follow this process of Sharanagati, and at the same time, not just negate everything, but also serve the Supreme Lord. So we have to do both. First, detach ourselves on the material platform, and at the same time, connect spiritually. So on the number scale, we know there is -5, there is 0, and then there is +5. The materialistic people who have no idea of soul, who have no idea of what Krishna consciousness is, who have no idea that they are not this body, they are spirit soul, they are like -5. Now, someone who has given up all these materialistic aspects, they are on the zero level. That is, they are shunyavadis. They think that, okay, just give up everything and merge in the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. That is neutral. That is on the 0th level. But devotees are +5, which means devotees don't just consider material aspects to be material, but they will connect whatever relations they have. They will not just see them as material, but they will spiritualize those relations and connect that to Krishna. They will see each and every living entity as part and parcel of Krishna, as a spirit soul. And therefore, this process, Vairagya, as far as Vairagya is concerned, as far as giving up everything is concerned, there are 3 types of Vairagya. First is Markata Vairagya. Markata Vairagya means monkey renunciation. Now, a monkey looks very renounced from outside. He doesn't wear any clothes. In fact, even the place of residence is not fixed. One day on one tree, another day another tree. So even his residence is not fixed. So monkey from outside looks very renounced. But from within, the monkey develops material desires. He has attraction for opposite sex. So that's Markata Vairagya. Second is Falgu Vairagya. Falgu Vairagya means giving up even those things which we can use for Krishna's service. That is Falgu Vairagya. And then third, that we all try to follow, is Yukta Vairagya, which means connecting everything, whatever we have, with Krishna. Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. Whatever we have, we don't just detach ourselves, but whatever we have, our house, whatever resources we have, we try in our own capacity to connect those to Krishna. And that's how even we are spiritualizing whatever wealth we earn, whatever relations we have. We are spiritualizing those relations, not by detaching from them, but by connecting those relations with Krishna. By connecting those relations, by connecting our parents, our children, our friends with Krishna. By giving them Krishna consciousness, by giving them prasad, we are spiritualizing those relations. And that is Yukta Vairagya, which is recommended in this age of Kali Yuga. And one last point before we end for the day. The easiest process in this age of Kali Yuga to develop attachment and attraction towards the Supreme Lord, as per Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the chanting of the holy names. When we chant the holy names of Krishna, we understand our spiritual identity. And that's how we can actually connect with others on the level of the soul. With the power of chanting, with the power of the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. When all of us will chant the holy names, all of us are connected on the spiritual platform. Even when Srila Prabhupada used to travel and the disciples used to miss Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada used to go from one city to another, when Srila Prabhupada used to depart, he used to say that, please keep chanting Hare Krishna, and this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I will chant there in another city and you chant here. And this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because this is absolute, it will connect us. And through this chain of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can always be connected. This is spiritual connection. This is spiritual connection. So therefore, if we want to spiritualize our relations, the best process is to chant the holy names of Krishna. And when we chant, when we see our relationships also in connection to Krishna, we don't just develop detachment, material detachment, but at the same time, we also develop attachment to Krishna, develop attraction towards Krishna. And that's how we can get Krishna and when we can go to Krishna. So that's what I was able to understand from this verse. So if anyone would like to add anything or correct me or add some realizations or points, please feel free to do so. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय. Anyone would like to add something? Prabhuji, would like to add something? Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. But Prabhupada, because yeah. 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 Right. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for adding that. Yes, Gokulananda Prabhu, you want to add something? Yeah. Kishore Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. So yes. So I think we can stop here for today. So Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please forgive for any offenses that if I may have committed, and please correct me if I went anywhere wrong. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha.
भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदना अभय चरणारविंदारे भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदना अभय चरणारविंदारे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरह भव सिंधुरे दुर्लभ मानव दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरह ये भव सिंधुरे भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे भजहुरे हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे की अच्छे परती तीरे हे धन यौवन हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे की अच्छे परती तीरे कमल जल दल जीवन टलमल भज हरिपद नीति रे कमल जल दल जीवन टलमल भज हरिपद नीति रे भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरह भव सिंधुरे सीतया तप बात परीक्षण ए दिन जामिनी जागिरे सीतया तप बात परी ए दिन जामिनी जागी विफल से बिनो कृपण दुरजन चपल सुखल बलागिरे विफल से बिनो कृपण दुरजन चपल विफल से बिनो कृपण दुरजन चपल सुखल बलागिरे ए धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे